he he basically put everyone on Teams.
Yeah.
So Teams had more users, paying users, than Slack did, I think, in its first week of operation.
Wow. So, okay, so this brings me to our conversation because I want to minimize our effort because I know we've had both of us have had long conversations, and I want to take responsibility for the fact that I don't want to suck up time in meetings with you guys. I want to get us going. Just like I know Dimitri's been, haranguing me for 2 weeks to like just get going. And the reason I was having discomfort or an inability to just get going, Dimitri, was because the conversation I had with Dayan yesterday and also ASU helped me really hone in and clarify what is important to get done in this first phase. How am I going to use this minimal, like, what do you call it, a runway of funding that I have within me to be able to get us to where we need to be so that we can bring that money in from the right sources. So that's the other piece I've been struggling with is who is my target audience in this very first phase, and where is the big bang for the buck going to be? So this is what I've been struggling with my internally, but with every conversation I've had over the last 2 weeks. So what I'm here to ask your input on, both of you guys, is I have a vision plan that may sound a little ridiculous at first to both of you because of the conversations I've had with both of you. I know what you're proposing and what you would be comfortable committing to, but I'm asking you to step back for a minute and look at my master plan and my focusing suggestions and see if we can't come to agreement of how to synergize and synchronize for the biggest bang for the buck. So are you willing to hear me out on my on the proposal for this?
Well, we're here.
We're here.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pull up the worksheet that I literally just sent to you before this meeting. Let me see. How do I pull it up? Where am I? Here's part of my problem is how many tabs I have. Okay. Are you able to see anything right now? This work?
Yeah.
What can you see this page with the chart on it?
Thrive World site and marketing plan.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the active document that I just shared with you guys. And what I wanted to be able to try to do is actively work through this with agreement on what our scope is and what our respective roles and relationships are to optimize our movement forward. And so what I put up in the front of the purpose was that the goal is a new website that embodies and integrates and or potentially replaces. I haven't quite decided if that's possible, but the EIC website, which is, as we all know, is very old and very primitive, but it is something I can do and work with. So I love that part of it. The Thrivetown Tahoe website, which is a Squarespace, and not something I can personally like play with, manage, and act, change things as things are changing. So I feel constrained right now about that site, but it could become the site for the Thrivetown at UNR Tahoe campus. So that ideal is that one of the sites is up here in Incline, and that we just convert or adapt that existing website to be for that one. Then the one we're talking about today really is this thriveworld.org, and I'm giving it a name and going to establish a domain if we all agree that would be the thing that synthesizes, integrates the one-stop shop to which these other sites could link if we decide to keep EIC as its own nonprofit. So thriveworld.org, though, is an enterprise site. So I don't know if org is actually the right extension because it is an enterprise site, a business site. It might have to be something else. I don't know what you guys, let's not go down that rabbit hole today, but I will be looking for your advice on what the big domain name is. And then
Use Chat GPT. that will be a productive way.
Well,
IO?
thriveworld.org is taken.
Oh, really?
And yes, and so is .com and so is .net. So those are taken.
How about IO? Because I've seen a lot of,
That's taken.
Or
Really?
.ai maybe.
I wonder, is that an extension that's even available?
Or like, what's
Um,
wrong with the Thrive Towns that you have? Like, Thrive Towns is the company, right?
Yeah, I do have the domain for Thrive Towns.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to change the subject here because
.org.
we can always figure it out what this is going to be,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
So, but I just pulled it up here and
I'm surprised that Thrive World's all taken. I might have reserved it. I still have to go back and look. Okay. And the other one is thriveworld.life. You know, make it a big brand that it's something like that. Okay. So what the goal here is a framework, a design framework for us to get through the end of the year and adapt and integrate the scope that Dimitri's offered and Dayan has offered in our working contract. I also recognize that I want to be able to bring some voices to the table during this time that I've already like opened the door to. So I'm going to say that's my design team is, you know, the people that I'm want to work with in some design aspects, graphic design and or the video concept. So Matt Kaufman, he's down in South Lake, so he could be our anchor designer for the South Lake Tahoe Thrive Town. Anthony Mayo is my visionary artist, musician on the Tree of Life project, which I do want to highlight in our video demonstration. Like it's like the culminating excitement. So I want him involved in that, and Catherine Oakes to some degree for business aspects of using VR marketing and like making sure the video, like she could be help in designing the video so that it appeals to all the people. Wendy Hummer is my Incline-based person who is working here in Incline and is excited about supporting us, especially, well, pretty much every part of what we're doing. She wants to support it. And she could bring businesses to the table. Business sponsors is her focus. Let's see. There is a marketing company I spoke with yesterday who really wants to, or Monday, who really wants to work with me. His fee would be $25,000 to do a full-on proper campaign that would involve interviewing 10 to 12 people, and you know, but he says he has links to national entities that would absolutely fund us. So he's like, Mary, tell me what, you know, I want to help. I want you to be successful, you know, so I want to bring people in like that as well. And now, of course, can I remember his name? No, but he's the national marketing guy for education and nonprofits. Education and nonprofits is his focus. All right. Just, so what are the goals? The goals is to have this website that Dimitri's building also have the high impact visual engagement, so that anyone who watches the video and goes to this website is going to instantly know what role they play and how they can start playing. And so what I'm thinking is why I developed that landing page homepage was because it captures everything that I want to be conveyed in one picture, which means all the functions for the portal, for the ecosystem are clearly a tile. The way, Dimitri, you talked about, we'll have a tile for each stakeholder. Well, I want the tiles to actually be the function that somebody goes to who's playing in this game. So those are the 7 functional portals. Yes, they're kind of stakeholder related, but moreover, they're experiential engagement. And the picture, if you notice, the picture is complicated, but it includes every element that I want to somehow be conveyed in our visual storytelling. One is the selfpreneurs on the journey with their backpacks on, going up the yellow brick road to Oz, so to speak, but it's the brick road of all the competencies and the experiences they're having. So it's multicolored. And this winds up a tree. So the tree of life with a winding staircase is the imagery we want to evoke here. And then these branches are all of the individual selfpreneurs finding their passion and bringing it into the world. They're flourishing into the world. There's like these little apples are hearts because the fruit is the passion on fire of everyone in the community. The final element of this that you can see vaguely is a spiral of the gold purple spiral that I have on my deck recently, that is sort of that universal metaversal world of development, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. And that's kind of showing the integration between all of these things, with the selfpreneur being the master of it. So the circle in the middle is the selfpreneur game of life. And that selfpreneur goes out to each of these different elements, and everybody in the community is playing in one or more of these elements. Okay, what do you guys think off the bat? Am I crazy to think we can have a homepage like this?
Yeah, it's just a landing page, really.
Right, it's just a
Maybe
landing
a
page.
landing page with some rollovers or something. I mean, it's not. It's just, yeah. It's
That could be active buttons. Each of these
Uh,
little tiles.
yeah. I guess they could be canvas elements or something. Yeah, it could be rollover elements.
And by rollover element, I mean, you mean it like pop it expands?
Yeah, it's just
Roll
sort
over
of
it?
animates so that you know which one you're actively going to click on.
Okay,
You want to be kind of fun. I mean, it's supposed to be for kids, and
right. And can have sounds embedded. I want it to be a sort of fun, vivacious, but in one picture shows everything that's going on.
Mhm.
Dimitri, are you what do you think?
I mean, it's what Dayan says here. Given the time, I mean, this can be designed and it can be what you want it to be.
Okay, it's the question I'll have for you guys is basically being able to, like, how far down the path of development and simulated experience can we get? So I'll just say that, first of all, what do we want to this video to be able to navigate, to showcase how people navigate through a Thrive Town. So the physical walkthrough, and Diana and I had talked about how we have these 3 characters, the selfpreneur team. They all have maybe their different ages and their different types of people: the geek, the artist, the maker, doer, builder, you know, that, and maybe there's one that's the social, the HR person, so to speak, you know. And so you see how a team works together as they're engaging in each playground and doing the activities that are in that escape room scavenger hat challenge that showcases what's happening in each one. And so you can picture each selfpreneur lights up when they're in the room that resonates most with the career path and the passion that they have to make an impact in the world. So we just showcase every kid has a different passion as they're walking around. Then as they finish and they come to the integral playground, they meet up with a coach. And this coach is somebody who helps them design the project they're going to do the next time they come back. And that's when they go to the selfpreneur game. Well, as they've done the tour, no, maybe not. Now is the time the coach walks them through the selfpreneur game and says, okay, now you find your coaches. Like, so they go through this picture or the website. Now you're going to go here and you're going to find your coaches. Now you're going to go here and to see if there's any projects that you want to do, or are you going to create your own project? Now you go here. Are you going to do it at this Thrive Town or that Thrive Town? There are 3. You get to choose which one. And I have 3 sub things down here. So they say, oh, I want to be doing sustainability project. That one is up at the lake. So they can do project up the lake, even if they live down in Reno, that kind of thing. Then they go to the career hub and they say, are there any career or internship projects we could do right now that we know already what we want to do? And they're already out there. So should we choose those? You know, so they're going to go through and this, and then they're going to go to the Thrive Marketplace to see what's the next badge that they're going to get in their selfpreneur journey, something like that. Or they'll look at all the projects that have already been posted in the Thrive Marketplace. Oh, they made a chair out of recycled materials and they sold it for this much. Let's do that. Or let's make our bench, you know. So some of the first projects we want is them to get excited about seeing what's possible in a simulated way of what's already on the marketplace. And then they say, but we can add value by doing this. So that's how they explore the whole system in the video, basically showcasing what's there. And then the final outcome is that of the video is each stakeholder speaks to the audience and says, hey, are you an education leader who would like to see how kids can earn credits? Go here. Hey, are you a parent who wants to sign your kid up? Or, you know, so it's basically the stakeholder conversation, how they can get involved and how they can play a role in launching it right now. And so just to let me finish up the and so part of this, the goal of what we're developing right now is to inspire youth and parents with excitement and commitment and endorsement about and willingness to participate in one of the Thrive Towns. So we actually want them to walk away filling out the Google form that says, love it. And I have a form for this, but I haven't done it by individual stakeholder yet. But they sign and say, what do you like most about this? What are you willing to do? Or you want to be part of a design team? And which Thrive Town do you want to be? So that's for youth and parents. Then there's employers, coaches, and school leaders to not only participate, but head up and lead one of the Thrive Town developments. And we'll call them lead sponsors or something. And then the third is secure lead institutional engagement. That's specifically the UNR, TMCC, Washoe County, state departments, higher ed, Tahoe Prosperity Center, and TRPA. So like, you know, we want to get a coalition of sponsors, and those would be for basically forming the collaborative for Northern Nevada. And, you know, ideally, our vision is that a Thrive Institute would be hosted at UNR, with the campus at Tahoe being its home base. And then 4. So notice I'm putting 4 secure major funders grantors, because the funders and grantors are going to come when we've done 1, 2, and 3. We've shown that people want it, that they're ready to sign up, and there is actually a thing I want to see if that sorry, on the website is called, I have a campaign, Right to Thrive, and people can sign the campaign, which tells the leaders in the community, we need this. So it could, anybody in the community can sign it. And so it's not broken down by who are you, what are you representing, but do you believe we should have the right to thrive in general? For what do you call it? For policy development and funding from the state level. Okay, so what do you think? Priority of goals. Are we in the right ballpark, right, in agreement?
So are you like trying to generate mailing lists out of this? Like when you do the landing pages and you're going to have these sort of fields, subscribe fields, I guess, or however they're going to work, right? Are you going to have like sort of a mailing list? Or are you going to have sort of like, I don't know, like a pre-sales thing, like sign me up as soon as it's ready, or like
Yep,
how
that's
are you
what
going to
the
manage like the
that's what the
different visitors to the site?
that's the form that they are directed towards. The form they will go towards to show interest. So what it's an interest form, and also a newsletter. So I think on every page of the website, obviously there'll be at the footer, it's the options to sign up for the newsletter, but also the interest form.
So I guess there's a few things that you can do, right? You can have a sign up, right? You can sign up for a free account. You can subscribe to the mailing list, but then you need some sort of contacts, like like you want to target these people that you want to reach out to and get individual emails from, right? So you want those things too, but you want to make sure you're identifying all those leads that come through in the different ways, right? So I'm not really sure the best way to do it initially, because I'm still kind of wondering for the purpose of the website, when it comes to my participation in Dimitri's, is it his is on the blockchain, mine is more on sort of simulating the experience and creating the video, but the other things are more like sales funnels or lead generation tools. And I think it's just you have to decide on which mailing service you're going to use, if you're going to use MailChimp or something like that. And as far as like your own like login system, how are you managing all the users, right, that want to log in for a free account to start?
Oh, that's a really good question, whether we would be able to well, first of all, how do we get the word out? The answer to that is I do have 1,500 names on my Bloomerang contact. And my goal would be, every year I have done an end of year, for the last 3 years, I've done an end of year mailing through Bloomerang. And it says, where are we? What's our new, what's our news, latest news? And here's how you can contribute. So I would like to send that out early December, Because that's when people are kind of making decisions. Are they going to give money personally or, whatever. So I'm going to, wherever we are in the website formation, I want to be able to send this Bloomerang mailing out to my 1,500 contacts and sort of do a news update and invite. So that we may not be ready to put them on, but the second thing is, yes, can we sign them up through our system? So Dimitri, when you think of the functions that you could accomplish, obviously we're not going to have a whole selfpreneur journey ready to be engaged in, but could we capture names who want to be part of our collaborative in some way, even if we don't have a lot of functionality behind that, but that they're just signing in and making a profile about their interests? And
Well, that comes off the bat with the base app that we've discussed. So that user identity management comes right off the bat. So there's a registration form that's going to be accessible through the landing page, and how many fields or pieces of information are a part of that form. How do people want to sign up as? Do they want to sign up as a learner, a coach? All of this stuff is just conditional stuff, and we can easily expose that form. But then from there, what happens is essentially what happens with any subscription-based website. You get an email, you confirm your email, and bam, you go right in the system. So to me, that's like functionality out the box. It comes with the whole base piece of everything. And so basically that's from my scope, that's the stuff that you're gonna get like on day 5.
oh, that's awesome.
So that's the stuff you get the cloud plus that base platform. Obviously, the responsive design is what it is. The HTML elements are predetermined, but then from there, how stuff gets embedded in them, like JPEGs and stuff, that's another issue. That's not that big of a deal. But the back end and the front end for all of this gets basically slapped on, and you're gonna have that working day 5.
Oh my God. So that is pretty phenomenal, because if we can have a landing page that for the Bloomerang mailing that goes and says, here, join now. And there's no cost to it, right, for them. And it's just like, you're in the system now. We can get you involved in the things that are going to be happening.
Well, for later, you can have cost. Because we have payment plan infrastructure, front ends and back ends, and we have the third-party Stripe integration, which is there. So you can just slap that on later, but at that point, you need to have an idea of how your subscription plans are going to work. We're going to have to obviously program in the usage meterings and things like that, because people are going to come into the website and they're going to use different resources. So. But for starters, like for a prototype site, to get from, basically navigating to the site to being a member should take you like 30 seconds. Basically, you should fill out a little form, and then the email comes, and you just basically get right in. That's what we did for Reno, but theirs is different. We had to restrict external access to their internal admin site because it's a Reno employees, so they invite them from inside of their website. But to yours, we'll just put the form on the outside like any other website is, and they're going to just say, okay, register. You'll have a little link to, what the subscription policy and the privacy policy is. I already scoped you that stuff. Now everything goes GDPR in California. They have these data collection policies and everywhere. But pretty much now any site you go to will pull up that window that says how we use your information or opt in and out of cookies and things like that. So that part we can put in later. That's not an MVP thing. But for a person to become a user or a subscriber to your site, that's 30 seconds on day 5. That will be possible.
And could we, if we right off the bat, if we offer them, okay, you're in the system, You're free now. Here's 3 choices. You can sign up to be a designer, be a design team member, and that's free because we want people to volunteer, their time to co-create. There is the option to become a sustaining member, or a one-time or sustaining member. Could they do, how?
Well, look, you can do anything because you can have a back end and seed roles in there. And when you have a back end with seeded roles, you can go as an admin into the back end and add more roles. And what the site will do, it will instantly pull those up in a drop down and say, okay, well, this is the role that I want to sign in. Obviously, if you want to have different screens display for different types of people that are going to sign in, we're going to have to, put that in. But for starters, if you want to have some sort of, predetermined roles that people can basically click on and say, okay, I've joined your program as so-and-so, we can do that. And also, while it's in beta, I wouldn't open it to the public because some guy will go in there with some spam bot and he's going to sign up like 1 million people to the system and just start spamming us. So we're going to proof all of that. We know how the spam bots work. I mean, so we'll have that. But even if, let's say, you had an internal email list of, let's say, 100 people that you extended the invitation to and say, okay, we want you to be a beta user, we want you to be a participant, we want you to follow the development of this site as we go along, the backend will basically check for that before anybody gets let in. And then we're going to make sure that the registration forms are spam proof, because we've had that on our blockchain site on one of them. As soon as you put blockchain on the site, people think they can hack into your wallet. So we've had just unbelievable amount of spamming going on there. So we had to figure out how to prove that, and we have the infrastructure for that. But I would, and again, it's how you want to go. And this is why I keep telling you, you just got to put us to work so that we can advise you and all this stuff as we go, because we can spend a lot of time on the outside or on things that I've had with another customer. He was big on these payment plans. And I'm like, you know what? Payment plans and subscriptions are a very complicated thing because they're custom and they involve usages and they involve like a third-party provider. And there's so much logic about how they are monitored, et cetera, how subscriptions are canceled. There's like policies and things. I mean, these are the things that you put in when you know you have a customer, like when you know that your beta succeeded, like when you have real good feedback on everything else. And for some reason, they insisted to spend the time to do that up front because they figured without subscription plans, you're going to have no revenue. And I don't think that's the case. I think without customers, you're going to have no revenue. So to me, it would be more important, like you said, where's your bang for the buck? Like, do you have a digital asset? Yes, I do. Is this the site? Yes, it is. If you invite me, can I join and see what your world looks like? Yes, you can. So I'd much rather go that route and worry about subscriptions and usages later.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not that hard to program. They're labor intensive, but it's nothing that's super technically challenging.
Well, and right now I can point to the EIC page, and where I have it all set up for Stripe and membership, so I can easily edit the donor page of EIC, so we can link from this prototype beta user environment and say, are you ready to join? Go here. Okay, so I could see how to do that in the short term.
Well, if you
Can
have
you
a
have
map,
like a cart or something? Can we add a cart for different things that can pay through Stripe?
I have
like,
that on my EIC website.
Yeah.
And I also have it on the Thrivetown one. But the question is, how fast can I port that into what Dimitri's building so that it's all in the same system? Because I have Stripe and it's actually tied to Bloomerang. So when somebody joins or pays, we have a Bloomerang record of it. Therefore, I'm tracking donors through that.
but you have retail. You're buying things like from a cart. It's not a subscription. It's so Stripe doesn't know whether they have to bill him back again in a month. They do, and
That's true.
do you see what I mean? So there's so there's so many of these things in there. Or if you said, okay, let's say now users have storage because they're uploading videos. At what point do they exceed a storage limit so that it doesn't cost you more money than the whole membership is worth? So it's like how you set up these usages. How much storage am I going to use? How many? What happens when tokens get into my wallet? Or what happens if I upload just a monster video or something? All of these things relate to scale. They relate to the cloud resources that are the computing resources that are being used to
Right.
run the software. And if you're not charging for them, or if it costs you more to run the platform
Yeah.
than what you're getting, so this stuff
But
it needs some work. It
in-
basically needs work.
In beta, though, I love your idea, which is to offer. So when I go to create the survey, one of the questions, or to update the survey, one of will be, would you like to be a beta user of our
Sure.
Thrivetown system? Then we scan who says yes, and we choose 100 people who are representing the different user types. So they become our spam proofing and test market, right, of utilization.
Well, we can figure that out because if you have a membership-based site, I'm assuming there's already a login for every person on your site. They have their own password and username, or no?
No, we don't have that.
But you have some list of who's doing business with you.
Well, what I just said was we're using Bloomerang, which is a customer contact form application, which I hope. Well, okay, so for nonprofits, when we send out our email to the 1,500 names, we know who opened, how many opened it, and all that stuff. So
okay, so we're not going to reinvent the wheel on how you generate interest and how you collect information
not right now.
Right.
Not right now.
Right. So, but we could take that list and we could seed it into the new platform and say, okay, if you're this guy with this email, we'll let you register.
Oh,
There you
was
go.
a very cool function.
There you go. So we'll do that. So we'll have like a invitation list that is preceded in the system, and the system will check for that. And, even if somebody knew your email, they wouldn't be able to register because the system requires that you confirm the email. So only someone who actually can log into their email account will be able to register.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Because there's these huge lists out there. Have I been pawned? And this guy has a list of like 100,000 emails of people that have been pawned. But also every scammer goes online and picks up that list, and then they hook up their spam bots to send people email. I mean, it's unbelievable what people do with people's email addresses. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. So, I mean, but we're going to proof this to where the actual owner of the email is only going to be able to sign up, and that will only happen if his email is listed in your invitations list, and that's it.
Cool. Okay, I love that. And so given this is a cool level of functionality to be able to kick off this campaign. And so now I'd love to focus in on the essential steps we need to take and who's doing what. And so that we can scope this out. So if the graphics for the 8 landing pages, it's not just graphics, it's and copyright for the 8 landing pages. Is that how you spell copyright? I don't think so. Is it copy? And copy, just copy. That's it, just copy. I've started this visual drawing concept. So I would say, I am responsible for the overall concepts. I would say Dayan is like create the graphic, the digital graphics. That would be, and what did you call it when you give frames to Dimitre?
Are you talking about like the rollover state and the landing pages?
Well,
Or
for the landing pages, you refer to it as wireframes, or what
Oh.
is it you hand off if you do the design work and you hand it off to the website developer?
Yeah, so I mean, we for something like this, we could build it in Figma and then export the styles to CSS. It really depends on what framework they're building the website on. If it's WordPress or something like that, it becomes more difficult because then it's all about using their plugins and their forms. If it's straight up HTML5, it's a lot easier because then we just hand over that HTML code. And
Well, if we have to integrate somebody's HTML and CSS, I would say that's fairly straightforward, but we would still have to coordinate on the overall style on what we start with, which goes back to again what I told Mary. Like Mary, we have these, it's a prefab, it's just out of the box business app. It's responsive, it looks very clean and well. We can integrate other stuff in it, but I first have to deploy it for you to see it and say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to be working with. And then if somebody else has like bespoke elements, so long as it's HTML and CSS, I mean, we'll put them there. The server will, send down the files to the browser and it will show up. Everything is going to render. So no issue there. My big question is, are we all building one website, or are we building one website that is going to show this journey from this business perspective, what I know we can do, versus does that site also has to have that metaversal stuff running from inside of it, or should that be linked to some other place? That's really my question about, which is again, Dayan, when I was talking to Mary, I'm like, you know what? I can scope you to where I don't have to work with anybody else because once you start working with somebody else or coordinating with many other, I mean, now it's like you, before it was like two other people that were there. And one of them wasn't very friendly. They had like a contract with Mary, and that lady
They're
got
out of the
upset.
picture.
Yeah,
So
but
no, we're back.
she wanted to punch me in the face, and I'm like,
No, and me too.
I just got invited to the meeting. I'm not here to take your business. So,
No,
yeah, I would say
but
that like on our end, we're not going to deploy any content at all. We would just hand over whatever you guys needed. And so as far as the metaversal stuff, I mean, I think what we can do is, what I'd really like to get Mary to is stage 3, which is a prototype in some form of the metaversal stuff. So what I can do is take all our content, bring it over to Unity, and there are some plugins for just walkthroughs and the use of Oculus and stuff like that. So if we can make, like, I don't know, even if it's just a sort of a like what you said, Mary, like a what do you like, treasure hunt or escape room, like if we can make some version that's playable on the site, it would be great. It wouldn't be tied to all these other data. What it would just be is probably an iframe, or what we would do is we would export out of Unity like a GL application, and that could just be dropped into the page rather than it wouldn't really, we can't really relate it to all these other things because that would get too complicated. But I think you could have sort of just a web application running on its own within the website because your goal is to get to stage 3, right, which is the prototype, and you want people to kind of be able to play with the prototype and see what it looks like, right? And so I think that could be a good way to demonstrate. We'll have the video, but it'd also be great to have like a some sort of a walkthrough tour. I know I said it was complicated to do in Unity, but if the requirements are simple enough, whatever, if I rebuild your digital doubles already, we can drop them into Unity and then sort of make some sort of stage 3 prototype, if we can agree on some sort of a development cycle. But it's important to get the 1, 2, not necessarily in order, but we can work on stage 1 and 2, and I think it would be part of that. We could figure out how we can get you that prototype in Unity somehow to stage 3.
Okay, so let me see if I heard what you just said. You said stage 4, stage 3.
No, there's no stage 4. So the proposal I sent you was like right up to stage 3, which is
1. Sorry, let me just make sure, because you you guys talk lingo that sometimes gets beyond me. For 1 and 2, we are doing a simulation of the functions in the base app and the VR world, so that via the video. And
Right, we're
then,
making a video demo of, you
right,
know,
a
what,
video
what the
demo.
thing could potentially
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
And then for stage 3, that's where it'll be fully integrated, but in a separate world. So the Unity, well, no, did I hear, when you said the word GL, what do you mean by GL?
So basically we should be able to, so in Unity, you know, you can make phone apps, you can make PC apps, and you can also make GL. You're going to make WebGL sites. So you could actually embed the Unity GL application onto the website and do sort of like that virtual tour like that you want to do.
Hang on.
Ultimately, you want them to be
GL
able
stand
to
for?
navigate and walk through, right? You want them, we want to get you to the prototype type stage by stage 3, right? So if we hand over, and this is just an embedded thing too, it's an embedded GL app that you would run on the page. It wouldn't be related to any of the other forms or anything like that, but it could be just a demo page where, you know, you have that application, you can explore the Thrive world. Maybe we don't have all the functions yet because I don't really have all the requirements yet, but you could have some sort of walkthrough or demo virtual tour, right, of what Thrive Town is.
And you're saying, what does GL stand for? Just so I.
So OpenGL is just that's just the way that you draw 3D graphics on applications. So so there is a way to export Unity to GL applications that works pretty well.
Okay, can be exported to GL. Let me see if I get this right. To embed as a demo in as to explore the Thrive world, walk through virtual tour, and that's embedded in the base app as a link or as an embed. It's an embedded,
just an embedded web page. So like you could make something where like, okay, they watched the video, they filled out the form, but if they've signed up, maybe you get, hey, you can start looking, you can start exploring the virtual tour and start using the actual you know, use beta of Thrive Town.
So if we had a very walkthrough that we talked about, not in Unity, but in Roblox or in Roblox or something, you're thinking the first.
No, this would be in Unity, because in Unity you can explore the Roblox, and those are their own platforms. You could popularize your stuff on those platforms for sure, but I think, you know, if you had the Unity embedded here, you could at least show a web version of what it does. You know, those other things are more like you want to give people a taste of that and popularize the, you know, the Thrive Town in some sort of way. It doesn't have to be the fully functioning thing, but you can have these things in Roblox or Minecraft, like some sort of digital doubles that allow you to get a fan base. Because I think, you know, you want to start with the gamers, people really like playing video games, and people who want to learn would really love learning through video games if they're done well, right? So you probably want all your social to be outreached in, you know, in Instagram and in what's the other one, TikTok, but especially you're going to want to have a Discord group that you can regularly interact with. So you should have Discord groups that, you know, of players or former students or whatever that can that don't have to be necessarily email, but you can do live conversations with. And you know, those are more powerful than any of these other lists you're talking about, which, you know, you buy a list or you're using I forgot, what was it, the one that does news updates Yeah.
Well, that's just
I
a,
mean, those are great and all, but the kids are going to be especially interested in, like TikTok and Discord. Those are going to be like, and Instagram. Those are like the three platforms that they're going to use the most. Roblox and those things are cool too, but we'll see if we can sort of output those digital doubles. Now, even adults, I mean, when you think of adults, it's not necessarily people our age. I mean, people with kids now are millennials. So, even they're going to be on those platforms. They're not so much using Facebook anymore or things like that. The next generation's using other things.
yes, but we do still need adults. Probably, I think the ones that I've been told are essential for adults are Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't want to get into the Twitterverse myself.
No, yeah, Twitter's not really. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, basically the same. You can set up dual campaigns.
Yeah.
TikTok, definitely promo. I mean, ideally with TikTok, you want influencers. You want people that use Thrivetown and talk about all the stuff they made. Eventually, that once you get some people that have been through it and they can show off their stuff on TikTok, that's where it becomes really powerful.
Okay. I'm putting you on here just because I think there's an element of this that there's going to be ongoing. I'm going to want a team of youth to be the ongoing media.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Youth team to create, or manage what social media.
Yeah. So there should be a Discord server and there should be some other channels too on TikTok and things. And of course YouTube. Yeah, YouTube.
All right, perfect. But
all unrelated to the website, other than the fact that you want to have those social links on there. You want to have links to all those different places on like a sort of a bottom bar or something.
And we do at the moment.
Okay.
Just I'll just show you what our current website has, and the so this is how the buttons in the current website are, but what we and we could still have these buttons by user person, but that would be at the bottom of the page, whereas up top would be the macro picture with the buttons to the different aspects of the program.
Mm-hmm.
But under here is where we had the sign up, and then
right. So yeah, you got your social there. We'd probably just add you'd add a TikTok and an Instagram. Well, you got an Instagram, and then you just probably add a Discord one there.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so but let's go back for a minute. So answer your question, Dimitri. Yes, you are the base app that through which all will be integrated. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, yeah, if it's URLs, if it's HTML and CSS that can be embedded in there, yes. From that standpoint, yes. If it's anything else that needs to be framed in, I don't know. But like Dayan said, if there's just links that lead to some place else where that stuff renders or runs, yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the GL would need to be embedded and run on the web server. And then, everything else could be hosted in iframes if you want. Iframes are pretty easy to manage.
So that part about the GL being embedded and ran and the web server basically within the same process that the web app is going to run, that I don't know.
Yeah, well, you would just have another page. You would just have another page, and you would display that app within that page. It wouldn't have to be related to all the backend framework you're doing. We're just going to make another landing page and drop that in.
And then what is CSS again? Can you clarify what CSS is?
Stands for cascading style sheets, and it's a computer language that helps program the responsiveness and how stuff looks, how it behaves. Things pop it out on a page, their size, what happens if the screen shrinks in size, etc. So it's just another computer language.
And
It's a pro.
Basically, yeah, anything with web is it's either JavaScript or HTML. It's like the three things tied together. You have the HTML, which is the page, and then you have the JavaScript, which is the interactive stuff, and then you have the CSS, which is the look of the page. So we're always chasing around three different things. Is web trying to
okay,
make it
so,
work.
and I'm gonna,
CSS is just how things look mostly. I mean, he's right about responsive and stuff, but it's the language. If you remember, like Web 1.0, everything kind of looked the same. They all had no style. It was just like you had a heading, you had some text, and you had graphics, and that was it. And then once you had CSS, then you could actually have the attractive looking websites like we have now.
okay, and that, when you said rollover, is that one of those functions?
That would be a JavaScript. So yeah.
Oh, okay. And do you do that kind of thing, Dimitri, the rollovers and whatnot?
Well, we have JavaScript running in the views everywhere.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could probably just we'll see like how I can make the page. There might be some code snippets or something in Dreamweaver I can just drop on there or something.
okay. So that's what I'm hoping is you guys together can figure out how to take the artistry of graphic design that Dayan has and be able to just quit and not be that complicated to port it. I don't know if the word is port or copy over export into. What do you call it, Dimitri? Import?
Well, for code, I would say it's integrating.
Okay.
It's really integrating. It's basically picking up some code and integrating it inside of our basically inside of the views that we program in for the server to send down to the browser.
Okay. Awesome. I think I finally see that, how that works. Now, if in the video creation, I'm going to create this first draft of the script for the video that would be the walkthrough of the Thrive Town and the Thrive World functions. So what that will serve is a guide post to how the website landing pages look, feel, and so it's guiding both the graphical design of the video for you. So first draft is me. Oh, and the end of the video is, and the action, the call to action.
Oh, that's on YouTube, but within the embedded site, you're going to just have your own call to action, right? It's going to be there all the time.
Yeah, that'll go, but just specifically what the video is, when I do a call to action, it's going to say, go to this site, right? So the call to action will go to the base app. And what I'm thinking though is, at what point do we, in the video, we're going to do like a little simulation of here's how you use the app. So how far in, like 3 weeks, Dimitri, could we have enough of a look and feel that we could do a video walkthrough of the website?
Well, in 3 weeks, you can have basically what I wrote you there. You can have your user registration, your landing page, you can have your internal dashboard with some, basic tiles. And then you can have your member search feature or your project search feature. So you can have all of those visually available and ready to go. So now from there, what else we want to do is up to this endeavor here.
Okay, so the internal admin dashboard and the member search feature aren't necessarily ones that, well, okay, we can decide, but
well, I'm just going by what our last discussion was and what you wanted to happen inside first. But if we have to scope something, I'm basically to the point where we have to contract and yes, exactly. So if this way, when the scope changes, we can, be on the clock and change the scope and have no issue in that. But that blanket price I gave you, that's $10 an hour, Mary.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
that's 10
just
bucks
want
an hour.
us to be most
That's 10
efficient.
bucks. That's 10 bucks an hour. So you have me. I mean, we're just basically like investing the rest of the time to get this project started. So
Right. So what should Dayan be able to give you to be able to have us make the most powerful video intro to that's my question to you, Diane, is what would you want to see to make the video as effective as possible so people look at it and go, oh my God, that system's amazing. I want to invest in it.
No, I mean, the video, you're just going to drop it and embed it on the page, right? I mean,
No, I'm talking
Yes,
about the
but
design of the video right now.
yeah, well, the design of the
Like-
video, you want to make it look like it's as fun to use as possible. You don't want to drill down and show every single function of the thing. You don't want it to be an instructional thing. You just want to show how cool Thrive Town is and how exciting it is to go and make things in there. It doesn't have to be an instructional video at all. And it shouldn't
No,
be, because it'll
no.
be very boring if you do it that way.
Right, but as far as what features of the Thrive World app should be in this video?
probably nothing that I'm gonna do.
No, but nah.
Correct there,
So
because-
That's
I mean, because what he's
nothing that I'm
doing
gonna do.
is already, is already taken for granted. Most people are used to signing up for an account and things like, they don't necessarily need instruction on videos on onboarding, or I mean, at least not in this day and age.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not talking instruction. I'm talking showing how powerful the web functions are. So for example, being able to click on each of these buttons at one level of detail. So click on Projects Hub. Whoa, look at all the projects in each of the playgrounds, right? So what I'm saying is there should be a click-through showcase on the video of what is possible, what's going to become possible. And
But
that's
I'm sorry, he's right. Because yeah, I mean, it will be a video of a website if we did that, versus if it was a video of the metaversal experience, or even if it was a different video that featured you as the founder and you described the journey and we showed a little bit of the digital asset and we could even showcase the capabilities visually and more tell a story about them than rather, show forms on a website.
no,
Or
that's my point. I don't want to show forms. I want to show these landing pages.
No, you don't want to show the website at all in the video. I mean,
No, this is the
landing page-
website. This is the website, but the landing pages, like for example, what I just showed you, you click on the projects. Whoa, look at all the projects that are available. And oh, down here, create your own project. I can link on that. And you right now, no, they're not going to be able to link on it and do it. But what I'm saying is those functions need to be shown as to the power of this, of the website in the future.
well, if we're focusing on basically being able to access a project search feature from inside of a dashboard and pulling up a project, and we're going to pretty it up, there's going to be some avatars there, some nice DOMs. If that's what needs to be showcased and it's something from what we're going to put in 3 weeks, yeah, we can do that. So now how you guys put it in a video and what the video looks like, that's a whole nother story.
That's my point. And so what I was just going to just get us to consensus is that for the video, I would like to see us do a click through to one level landing page. So that's 7 landing pages visually.
Yeah, they can already click on the landing. What's the point of putting it in the video? I'm not really understanding. You're showing more an instructional thing than explaining
No,
how
not
powerful the
instruction.
journey is.
This
right,
is
for the
nothing to
video.
do with instruction. It's to show wow capabilities that I'm going to be able to do as a selfpreneur, as a coach, as an employer, as a community school provider. They'll be able to instantly go in here and go, wow, this is
Right, they can
going to
can do
come.
that on the website already. So if we make those landing pages really powerful, they can do that on the website. But in the video, that won't be super exciting to rehash. You want to
Well, why don't you guys produce a video that's like an animation? There's many of these companies, they have like an explanation video. So there you don't necessarily have to have particulars from the websites or particulars from how the
That's
internal sites, but just have like an animated video that it's like an explanation video. So,
Yeah, well, explainer videos are going to be pretty. I think they're pretty boring, like
Yeah.
the sketchboard ones. I mean, I think what you and I already planned out is more exciting, you know, to show the metaversal experience. Showing the
Yeah.
web portal might not be that exciting because you can go to the landing page and already experience that, and it's already going to be
Oh,
pretty much the landing pages are going to speak for themselves. So
right. That's my point. That's all
yeah.
I want, is to say that we are going to have a homepage plus the buttons plus the 7 landing pages of what each of those assets or functions will be. So
Right,
that,
and you just want a really flashy photograph or something
no,
that
a
represents it,
graphic,
and then some
a
body
graphic
copy underneath,
design,
right? Yeah.
a
Well,
graphic that
I would say just a photograph, not even a graphic design. You need,
no, I'm sorry. I'm going to be really stubborn about this part of it, because just like this diagram is a graphic, and it's going to be a certain style of the icons in each one will have their own icon. What you're doing when clicking through on each of these, and again, it's just like 30 seconds. Click on Project Hub, boom. Whoa, here's the Thrive Town, and here are all the projects I can do.
I don't understand what you mean 30
It's a
seconds. A
graphic.
web page is kind of just a static page. So what do you mean
And the
30
video,
seconds?
okay, so let me see if I'm not communicating as cleanly as I should. In the video, after we've done the animated characters walkthrough
Mhm.
of the Thrive Town rooms and saying, oh, I finished that challenge. I finished that challenge. Oh, look what you can do here. Look, okay, so that's a couple minutes of touring the walkthrough there.
Mhm.
Then they come into the integral playground, which is the reflection center, integration center, and they go, okay, let's get to the Thrive Town website or Thrive World. Let's record, and see what we can do to be a selfpreneur going forward. Then they click through, and this is still part of the video, and you're seeing it through the eyes of the selfpreneur. Click through. Oh, look at all the coaches I can find, right? And on that coach page, there'll be pictures of the different coaches, and by category, so imagine the Thrive Town, the logo that we have, which is the five rooms, basically. Imagine you click on that room, the physical room, playground, and up pops 5 possible coaches. So you see how this is kind of what I want to be able to show how to do in each of these spaces. So Dimitri, does that make sense? I think from your point of view, when we have a what do you call it? What did you call it? A prototype of 5, coaches that we have fake pictures, or we have our pictures, or whatever it is, and be able to click on them and see who they, see a highlight of who they are and what they're offering. And ultimately, even though we are not going to have it yet, we could have me as a coach sample, and I would have a 1-minute video saying,
it's very, very easy for us to load, just to create a little person or a user profile widget with a little avatar photo and some information about them, and have them display as tiles on a page that you can access through the internal dashboard. I mean, that's part of what we said we're going to have there.
yeah, okay,
But
good.
but is it going to look like this picture here? I don't think so. Like, that would need to be custom made.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We are custom making that in the
Well,
partnership
if
between me and Dayan.
so, if
Yeah, I
Dayan
mean,
can drop,
these are
if
getting a
Dayan can
little
drop
beyond
me
the scope
the
of stage 1 and 2, but
yeah, if Dayan can drop me an HTML and CSS file, I will slap it right in there, and then from there we'll bind it to whatever data is going to come from the back end, and then we'll make sure that it navigates to whatever other feature that there is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying from a very high level ideal video scenario, we are walking through and showing what you can do when you click on these portals. We're calling them portals. I should use that terminology a little bit better. So these are the 7 landing pages portals. And less important to me is the internal admin dashboard and the member search feature. What's most important is like the selfpreneur game dashboard. So here's another question, you know, I have a dashboard in Canva. How hard is it to take a JPEG of that dashboard and just paste it in that landing page for the
Not hard at all. If all you need to render is a static image, sure, it's not hard at all. We'll render a static image in there.
Okay. So
But what's
and
it?
you
But
call it
what's it gonna? But what's it gonna do? It's just gonna display a picture.
yes. Bingo. We're not-
But shouldn't it have like a picture and a profile, like text next to it or something like that, right?
Well,
I mean,
that's what my current dashboard has.
okay.
It's a picture, avatar, you know. So I won't go there right now, but just to say, if I hand over a JPEG, you can put it in
Yeah,
really easily, right?
yeah. Well,
Right, but
we'll have to fix.
isn't it pulling that JPEG from it? Like in other words, you have registered coaches and stuff. If he's pulling that up from the database, it should just already be there. You don't want him to just randomly load in JPEGs, right?
No,
You
but
want to be able to use the
for-
admin panel that's being developed, right?
Or the prototype.
No,
Um,
we'll put some record on the server about, you know, dummy coaches or dummy students. We'll use some dummy data, and that data will display every time something gets clicked on. So if the guy has a dashboard and there's like 3-4 tiles on there, and one of them is like find coaches or find people, you'll navigate there, and all these widgets are going to come in. There'll be a little search box, and if he types something in, the widgets will disappear, and only the ones that match the search, what he's typing in, will kind of show. It's kind of like when you're finding somebody on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere else, just basic stuff. So that's
Right, and
not a problem.
she'll be able to access like an admin panel where she can create dummy accounts or whatever, create her own users that are not generated through.
If we need to program an admin panel, yeah. Otherwise, for now, we're basically gonna render the dummy data from the server and bind it to the client, basically to the website.
Oh,
the
okay. So she doesn't even need an inmat. She just needs to create other accounts and make them show up somehow, or dummy accounts.
Well, if she gives me the emails, the people will be able to navigate and open up their own account. So that will be all right out of the box. The user registration will work immediately, and the people that are registered basically will be able to sign in, and then from there we got to decide what they're going to see. Like the students are going to get a student dashboard; these guys are going to get that, which is why again I'm saying all of this needs to be done in a scoping meeting under contract. I mean, there's just no way you can figure all this stuff out now. If we had to focus on one for starters and say, okay, the most important thing is to be able for me to display right now what a learner would be able to see when so how's the learner going to use the system, or how's the admin going to use the system? Whichever one we need to develop first, or even concurrently for that matter, we can work on that, because when you log into the web app, based on your registration information, it will already know who you are. Are you a student? Are you a coach? Are you a learner? Who are you? And then from there, we can conditionally render what their UI, what their navigation needs to look like from inside.
Okay. And here's what I'm going to give you is 100 like actual emails of people that are already in our inner circle, so to speak. And what we can do is in outreach to them, invite them and say, please register.
Well, I'm sure that would be at a latter stage, because you don't want them to register and walk into the site when there's nothing in it still,
Of course.
You're right. But
when
yeah,
it's ready.
totally.
So when it's ready, I give, You have
Yeah,
100.
but you're
accounts.
gonna get that functionality on day 5. So that would be working from day 5.
That's
Like
fine.
you will have that already built in there.
Cool.
So
Okay.
how these guys register, how these guys can change their username, password, manage their profile, stuff like that. For the most part, you're gonna get all of that stuff on day 5. Just
Awesome.
generically, yes.
And I'm going to call this the beta system functions per landing page. So one is that the emails are there. 2 is the I'm going to call it 5 selfpreneur dummies. I'm calling it 5 coach dummies, and not really dumb. They could be real, the first 5 coaches that we have on our team. You know, and then, and I can even reach out to 5 of my students and say, hey, you want to be the first selfpreneur? And then 5 employers. And that's where I would go out and, you know, we'd have Tesla or whoever it wants to be the core beta testing. Okay, awesome. And you can enable the registration process for the first beta for the initial 100.
For anyone you want. So
Okay.
we can have as many emails as you want. And then from there we can take a tally on, okay, out of the 100 people, did I already pick up 5 selfpreneurs? Did I already pick up 5 coaches? So if you want to limit the system to only take, like, because from what I see here, it's only going to take 15 people in for starters.
Yeah.
If it's going to be first come, first serve, it looks like, because if out of those 100 emails, 5 already sign up as something, that category will be full. But all of that stuff is very easy to do. I mean, we're just what happens on registration, that conditional logic is very easy to deal with based on some category of user. Is it going to be coach? Is it going to be employer, etc.? So it's very easy to do that part.
And like with the marketplace, we have a marketplace environment inside of this website. And my question would be, could we mock up a like that looks like this, where we have
We can totally do that.
okay,
What was this website done in? You know?
Squarespace.
Oh, Squares. Okay.
Yeah, but there's nothing. There's really not much about this list here. It's a photograph, and underneath it has a price. And what else does it? There you go. So yeah, this part here, I mean, we can
And
do
then
that.
you click on the item and you pick your size and your quantity and you add it to your cart. So how far down the road will it be? Because in this marketplace, I imagine like you sign up for membership and you do your subscription stuff. So how far down the road
why don't you just have a link to this marketplace right here if it's already working?
Well, because number one, the items are going to be different. And right now, okay, so and here's my problem. Again, I am not a developer of this space. I can't go in here and edit it myself until I teach myself how. So my question is, how long down the road for the base app that you're working on, Dimitri, would this functionality? Because I know in Squarespace you can pretty much like what do you call it? Take this functionality and populate it pretty quickly, if you know how, if you're a developer. But in your space,
no, it's not how long, Mary. I mean, we can put it in fairly quickly, but why reinvent the wheel for this thing? Like, I would have to sign you up for Stripe throughout. No, but I would have to sign you up or I have to see how that works, how to take your Stripe account and basically make sure we can use its credentials, pull up Stripe interfaces from in here, and then expose this marketplace. And then we're going to need to seed it with stuff. So you need a backend to manage this stuff. Like you're going to need this inventory of shirts. They got to be related to these images that are rendering. So this is almost like an app in itself, this e-commerce. I wouldn't
It
want to
is a
recreate it.
plugin. That's what I'm saying. It's a plugin. And my question is, are we, at what point would we want to have an embedded functionality on the base app versus point here to another website indefinitely? That's my question.
Well,
I'll say way later. I mean, you need, like Diane says, you need the more exciting things to be created first. Like you need to know that your product is coming together and it's going to have this appeal. And then I think you need some, obviously we're going to need a bigger budget for that stuff, but I would say that budget wouldn't come from showing some investor an e-commerce site. It would come more from how your digital asset reflects your unique concept. And like Diane says, how cool is this metaversal stuff for the student? So to me, that's the biggest challenge, because you have such a massive scope here, like, and it twists and turns, and there's like so many pieces to it. So if we narrowed it down, says, okay, well, let's prototype this from the user experience, or from the viewpoint of, let's say, the learner, and have some basic admin features. That way we can at least knock out something, have that prototype. I would do this far later, because this is like, it's already done. I mean, it might be actually easier to go in here and or create another one with Squarespace and just have it linked to the other website, rather than us code this up from scratch, which and we wouldn't code it up from scratch. The HTML for it, I think we pretty much have that, because we do have like a shopping cart DOM, but the backend for it is something you need to deal with too. So I don't know. I mean, here you already have it. I don't know how hard it is to add new items to this marketplace right here, but I would rather deal with it later than now, unless
Okay.
you think that it brings revenue and we
No,
have
I'm
to
just,
put it in now. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so
how much
I,
revenue does this site bring in right now currently?
oh, it's not active.
It
This
isn't?
site completed a month before we had to close the facility. So there is no activity here. But what
But if somebody went on it now, could they buy something?
yeah,
Do you have the stuff?
yeah.
So does this I think that's what he was asking, is it generating any revenue?
No, I told
Okay.
you, it's
Okay.
totally inactive. We have not been using it.
But it's up and running, right?
It is operational
Okay, but nobody's buying anything, right? So
because they don't know about it. I never got to the point of launching it. There is a link to this site on EIC. But again, I haven't been doing any outreach or newsletters until I can reframe the way we're talking. So let me just summarize and say, if I could find somebody who is a Squarespace, well, maybe even Diane,
Not hard.
and to update this so that people could be directed here, that would, okay. That's
yeah, I think you could even find a student that Squarespace is not a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So
Well, we can direct them to the website. So directing them to this is not a problem, but why rebuild it? Why spend all the time and effort to rebuild it when you already have it? Plus, if your prototype at least visually displays how they are redirected to the marketplace, you still have it up and running. So it's like one more asset that's already there.
yeah, I've had many clients that just kind of keep redoing their databases and all these different things for no reason. And it's like, when you have something up and running, especially since it is still going to be a separate
agree.
site, right? Why spend all that money redoing it again when you can save that money? And if it really becomes an issue later, you do it. But obviously, this is specifically for the Tahoe community, or is it like, can they buy any of the workshops through it anyway?
Well, we don't have workshops, so it will be design clubs that they're signing up for.
Okay.
So they can be a subscription, or they can be a design club member sign up. So I'm trying to combine both, the marketplace that we envision for Thrive World is a place where all exchange happens. So a coach can sign up and have a certain number of tokens, so this is down the road.
Oh, okay. So different
Mhm.
story now. If we have to expose something from within here to where you can earn tokens and use those tokens to buy t-shirts and things like that, that's a different story. We can hook that up.
So it's like a digital wallet, basically.
Well, what we're doing is, or what we've talked to Mary about, is each student, as soon as a student registers, we will pop a digital wallet in the background for him. I mean, that's pretty much almost out the box also. So basically a student will instantly have a wallet. Now, the journey or their certification, their accomplishments, and their accreditation is going to be related to some amount of tokens that are going to go into their wallet. So now what are you going to do with those tokens depends on what happens in Mary's world. So if there's t-shirts or coffee cups or anything else, any other a trip somewhere, something that can be redeemed for those tokens, we can orchestrate that from inside of the site. But having the blockchain wallet, it's almost out the box. So each of these students can have a wallet assigned to them immediately on Algorand. So we can have that. And then from there, basically would be the logic of, we're going to issue just a non-fungible token batch on the blockchain, and only Thrive World's account will control that allocation. And then from that account, tokens will be sent to each student as they earn along their journey, from what I understand. So then from there, what students can do with those tokens will be up to how Thrive World is going to work, I guess. Right?
Yep. And what I'm saying is, for this demo phase, in that center circle, the selfpreneur game circle, when they click through on that, what they're going to see is, number one, when they log in, they'll see first thing they'll see is their dashboard, right? So I will have a visual sample of that dashboard for you. But the second thing is to register their activity. And so that's where the demonstration of this is that they have done something like take a picture of themselves doing, or a video doing, 10 weight lifts. Then they post it to their site, to their whatever, and that's what triggers the badge and the tokens. Like, let's just say for the sample, it's a picture of themselves doing something or finding something, right? Oh, look what I found. And then, sorry. And so what we're looking for in the functionality of the website itself is, and having them actively post that. And then what happens when they do is, you won 5 tokens. So that's kind of what I'm wondering, what in terms of that wallet part of it, Dimitri, what kind of response could we see that would allow a selfpreneur to be aware that they've been issued a badge or a token?
Well, you'd be able to visualize the badges. So you're going to have you said you had a terminology for it. I think it was called portfolio or a profile or a learner portfolio, I think it was, or something. But I mean, a learner will obviously, no matter what, there's a structure to this journey, whether the projects are initiated by the admins and assigned to a group of learners like we discussed, or whether there's existing projects out there that a learner can find and, add themselves to. I mean, we're going to figure out, and again, for starters, what the most basic accreditation process is. And then obviously each learner will have visuals of that. So if you get badge number 1, that's X tokens. If you get badge number 2, that's X amount of tokens. So each of your selfpreneur steps there can be related to a certain amount of tokens.
Correct. What I'm, I think we're in line with that, but what I'm asking is what could we show in the short term during this phase? So that when we're videotaping, sorry, it looks like I'm breaking up, if you can hear me okay. When we videotape a walkthrough of what's possible, could
You
we
mean
have a pop-up?
after week 3? Yes, we can work on a page that you navigate to that shows your learning profile and says, these are my accomplishments. I got this certificate on this date. I got that certificate on that date. This one was worth that many tokens. That one was worth that many tokens. And when I click on my wallet, voila, tokens are there. So we can show that.
Yeah.
But that's something, again, you'd have to do after that first week, which is why, again, there's like quite a bit of work here. And I keep saying we got to get started. We got to
Well-
but you really have to. And I think once you're in and the student is in, and your basic dashboard and your basic search features are in, even if they're mocked up with dummy data, from that point, the rest of the time we can use to do exactly this is to say, okay, show me a quick wireframe on what a student's learning profile looks like in history. On this date, you accomplished this. On that date, you accomplished this. And because of that and that and that, here's your tokens. We can totally do that. So I would say we very fairly quickly, we can have that working from inside of the system.
Okay,
And
and
and again-
what I'm focused on though is what we can show in the interface besides
everything
the
will
under
be shown.
system.
Everything will be shown. There will be tiles, there will be badges, there'll
Okay.
be some
So-
elements. Yeah.
To that point, that landing page of what a selfpreneur clicks on that middle sphere of the selfpreneur game, up comes their dashboard and a option to, or a way to, a button to register their activity. Now, what I'm asking, Dayan, is if in order to make this go smoothly and beautifully aligned with the graphical design of Thrive World, as well as this website, I need 80, badges, graphical badges that are,
Did you say 80? 80?
yeah, there's 80 versions of badges. Which I have already designed the majority of them, but I need the talent of the graphical interface and to make sure we're using the right character type, right? The characters that are going through Thrivetown, we kind of want the similar character features on each of these badges. So what I'm thinking is this something we can have on the home page? Or sorry, the landing page of the selfpreneur. So the graphics.
I'm not sure what you mean. You're not going to show 80 badges on the landing page, right? The landing pages are just a description of what they can do in that space, right?
But they're the visual.
No, I think we're confusing the terminology here, Mary, because the landing page is just that very first page on the front. And that from that landing page, you'd be able to log in, like it will take you to a place to log in. And once you log in, you're going to be inside of that dashboard area. So if the student needs to see something that's specific to them that says, okay, well, here's my control panel, here's my world. How do I navigate this world? And then from here, I want to see what projects are available to me. I want to see from inside of the platform who else I can work with. I want to see how far down the learning path I am. All of that now is going to happen from inside of there. So if that's what you're calling a landing page, I think that's what we're calling a dashboard.
Yeah, they're two different. The landing page, like if they go into the site, right, and they're clicking on that thing, they might have never visited the site before,
Yes.
right? So if they're
So
if they're
that's
just
on the
looking at,
outside.
yeah, if they're just looking at landing pages, they're just looking at what can be done, but they're not necessarily engaging in the content. What you're talking about is more like what's going to actually happen when they're signed up for Thrivetown and they're already actively participating. But somebody who's never used it before, they're just going to the landing pages and they just want to see what it's all about. It's just going to really give a description of that space. So
that's where I'm expressing to you guys, I have a different conception of what I want to be visually available on those landing pages. So I'm saying there's a homepage, yes. There's 7 landing pages for the 7 functions. For each one of those pages, I commit to creating a visual, easy to grasp right up front, the sign up button, right? So this is, I want to be a selfpreneur, click. That's registration on that page. 2, right before the sign up or after the sign up, here is if they're already sign up or sign in, right? If they already are sorry, I'm sign up button, but below that is a sample of a dashboard. So what I'm saying is they will immediately have a visual of, oh, if I am a selfpreneur, I can see exactly what the elements of my dashboard portfolio are. And that's, I see those as the same thing. And then,
well, not really. I mean, because it's going to be blank. I mean, you're going to have a blank dashboard if they're just starting out, right? Or are you going to show an example dashboard? I'm
yes,
not sure I
yes.
understand, because they might not
Example.
understand what the dashboard is yet, right? So they might go in and it's like, well, what can I do here? I can go in and obviously they're going to have some sort of communication, but the landing page should really just kind of highlight what that section is, because each landing page, if they're all the same, if they're all just going to a dashboard, then why have the different landing pages?
No, the dashboard is for the selfpreneur portfolio. And I said, let me just, I obviously haven't gotten far enough down the path to help explain what I mean by when I say these things, because words are not adequate. But I think you've seen in the past the dashboard that I have for selfpreneurs. And okay. This is the selfpreneur dashboard. So it's going to be a 1-page JPEG image that showcases this is what you're going to be working towards.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then this will be in a below that. And here are all the competencies you're going to be working to earn. Am I losing? Can you guys, did you hear that part?
Yeah.
I
think, yeah, I mean, there's a way to convey this. I mean, there's a little bit too much information on the one screen right now to show everything, but I see what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Yeah. So if I provide you with, so here's my interest. Every one of these on the right will have a little icon. I think Dimitri, you and I talked about this. The badge will be a click through icon that you click on it and it shows you what you need to do to earn this badge and enter, submit your activity here. So what I'm trying to get at is how well could we showcase in our little video walkthrough that these are this is what a selfpreneur will do when they have a dashboard and they have a list of all the badges and the pictures are right there and they enter, here's my picture, bingo. And then up pops an affirmation. And maybe it doesn't have to be in the system, but it's part of our video script. Congratulations. You just won. You just got confirmed by your coach for this badge. Okay, so do you see where I'm going with it? It's like a simulated full experience of what is possible in this app when it is fully built out. Does that make sense?
Right, but that's more in the video you're talking about, right? Or I mean, because the landing page, are
Yes.
you planning on showing a video on the landing page, or you just kind of have like the example like this?
The landing page. Okay, yeah, I think the landing page that we've talked about for all of the app has click-through buttons on it. And I'm saying when we click through on the Selfpreneur game button, then they will see this landing page of, oh, here's what everything happens with a Selfpreneur. And so I'm talking about simulating the functions as part of the script. So Diane, as I'm building out the script, I will put in these visual graphics that, whether or not they're functional yet in the app, they will be showing how a Selfpreneur engages with it. Is that it? Am I saying that?
Right.
Okay?
So, but you're going to offer a description, I would imagine, too, because it's
Not description as much as doing and pictures, like a voice. The Selfpreneur goes, oh, I'm going to submit this badge because I just did this activity, and they showcase how they enter the badge. And so I can see it in my head. I'm just trying to see between the three of us, what do I need to do to make it possible for the video to show these actions that are happening. Okay, so
well, I mean, that stuff, we're just going to mock it all up. I mean, that's regardless of what Dimitre actually builds, because he probably won't have time to build it in time for us to do all the videos. So we're really just kind of conceptualizing what those things are. And so when you put your script together, I'm going to make some sort of example, and it could be just what you showed me, or it could be, maybe a enhanced version, but we're going to tell that story really just through the video and not through an actual working application, because and I think the video will help you also better envision how the application works, because you'll walk through it and you're like, well, maybe that's not working, but let's try this. And that's why we have this whole pre-production conceptual process, so that not only you're practicing telling the story, but also you're kind of seeing what the experience looks like.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying, is that's giving guidance to all of us in where this is going and what we can do. So I'm just trying to get clarity on what part of it I produce for you, what part of it, the graphic HTML.
Yeah, I mean, for the video, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff has to be in HTML.
I know, but we also are feeding the content to Dimitre at the same time.
We can just send him videos. You can just embed the videos on the landing page.
It's not, again, it's the population of the landing pages with the graphical design that we're creating coherently. And so I'm just trying to clarify in my head.
Yeah.
I'm going to design the landing page of all those 8 pages with you and the script. Then between your team and mine, we confirm the graphical design, for landing pages, and then feed to Dimitre for his inclusion in the base app. So as soon as we have a visual that is enhancing what Dimitre already has in his base system, right? In the first 5 days, there's a base system, and with 8 links to landing pages. We then come back and layer in the visual intrigue to that app. Am I capturing that?
Well, but the app has to be up and running already.
I'm saying the app is up and running, but we are helping the functional visual enrichment
Well, see, if the screens are in the app, guys, and the workflows are structured inside of the app, from there, what kind of other graphical design is embedded, so long as the structure isn't like we don't change the logic of how the app functions,
Yes.
is not, we can do that. We can do that either concurrently or later or during or, but like you got to have that app up and running to be able to do that. Unless you want to have this gigantic like scope and wireframe on how everything needs to look beforehand. And this is why I said we have to be working together on the clock to generate the scope. And at the same time, do what we're all good at. I'm good at deploying this stuff. I'm good at, slamming the based app in there, putting up all these screens to where they're working. And then from there, you guys can come in and say, okay, well, can I have this element look like this? Or can I have, when I click on this, it leads to that. And obviously we can have some basic scope to start with, which is why, Mary, when you said, okay, I want to be able to search for people, can I do that from the inside? Absolutely. I want to be able to search for projects. Can I do that from the inside? Absolutely. I want to be able to register based on a list of 100 emails as A, B, C, or D. Can I do that? You can absolutely. So we're going to slam all of that in there. And then from there, you guys can come in and say, okay, well, now let's get together and see how the student is going to navigate either his journey or his history of accomplishments or his wallet, etc. That's as far as I can see.
If I can clarify though, something you said, the base functionality is what I'm trying to make sure we're all in agreement on, so that we aren't, the design of that initial home page sets up the functionality enrichment as we go along.
Well,
I
the
don't wanna-
design of the home page is not a functionality, it's the design. Like, let's say
No.
you have a circle of elements here and you have one in the middle. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons out there, or 7 other tiles or something that later can be replaced with this design. But each of those has to click to some other page. That's not going to upset the functionality of the site. The only thing that will change is the design.
Okay, so to be clear, when I think about functionality, I'm saying that the tabs on the home page, like if this is the visual we're going after for our colors and graphics of the home page.
Two completely different things. Because if you say, give me a site with 10 buttons and 5 tabs, and each of them should lead to another 6 pages and 13 pop-ups, no problem, we'll do it. And then as soon as that comes, you say, okay, but I want this to look like this and this to look like that. That doesn't upset the functionality. It doesn't upset the navigation.
Right, those
It
are going to
doesn't
be the CSS styles that
Exactly.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is, from the beginning, I want to make sure we have these functional tabs as part of the website.
We can have the functional tabs, no problem.
Okay.
So we
That's
can
what
have,
I'm-
or some element that if you interact with it, it will go someplace.
Yes.
So yes.
So like on, okay. And one thing Dayan had said to me, I think is on, or was it you, Dimitri, that there can be something up in the corner of the web page that has like a drop down, so that you don't have to have like tabs across the entire top, like to clutter up the look and feel. Was that you who told me that? Or was it?
Well,
someone else?
I mean, I usually don't want to have tabs within the website. You want to just navigate to another page. So, I mean, you could use the hamburger menu if you want to navigate that way. A lot of people do that. You want it to be responsive, so you do want it to be working on mobile and other things. But yeah, I mean, tabs in general, within a same website, you don't usually want to have separate tabs, right? Because then you're opening different
Well,
windows in the browser.
doesn't every website have tabs at top or at bottom?
Well, those aren't tabs. Tabs are what open up in the browser. So if you see how many tabs you have on the top, those are tabs.
Yeah, but I'm saying within the website,
Those are just menus.
menu, menu
yeah.
bar. So that's my question is, what is the menu bar style that we are talking about so that every page has a navigation, ease of navigation? And the fact that we have this graphic, this round with 7 actionable links.
Again, we're going 2 different paths here. One is the functionality and the other one's the style.
Yeah,
I know.
you're talking about sort of the UI design of the navigation. And
Yes,
the
what is
nav bar.
what is the navigation to make sure, Dimitri, I guess my concern is, I don't want to set you loose. And then you come back and say, well, you didn't tell me you needed 7 tabs. And
Well, I'm very close here because I'm about to time out by the end of the week because we're going to commit to something else in December otherwise. So I'm like literally this close, just so you know. But and again, you can have us engage in these meetings and we can work with you on both functionality and style. But I don't think you'll be able to get me to pre-commit to this totality of what needs to happen because there's just too many things here, Mary. I mean, if you want a landing page that allows you to go to 5 other pages or 5 other places, and I deploy you a web app and it says, hey, Dimitri, there's 1 button here. Can we add 5 more buttons in here that lead to this and this and this? Sure, we can do it. Hey, Dayan, can you make sure that this is how the landing page looks so we don't disturb the navigation from there? I mean, we could totally do that, but this is why a professional company will charge you $100,000 for what we're doing right now.
Right, because if the requirements aren't clear enough,
exactly.
kind of
What
keep
the
making them
and
up.
and
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we're doing this on such a limited budget that we have to build in some of this collaborative work, basically figuring out how everything is going to go and do it as we go along. Because
right,
if you want us to generate this massive scope up front,
no,
and continue to burn the midnight, I mean, that's just, I'm not going to
that
be able to
isn't,
do that.
Dimitri, I think you understand that the reason we're having this meeting is to see if we can collaborate effectively.
Yes.
And thank you for
And
your
I think we can. I actually think we
ability,
can.
right, to say that the scope of that I know is ambitious for what we're
No,
trying to do.
to say the least, yes.
And it sounds like, if I hear and summarize our conversation, that we agree there's enough flexibility and enough shared common goals that we should proceed. Are you feeling that way? Both.
I think
am.
we'll need to establish the MVP and the requirements pretty clearly so that, so we're not always kind of coming to an end where like, oh, we didn't put this in or that in, right? And so if we can define that
was what I
and
thought this conversation was, the minimum
right.
viable.
But we keep adding other things and we keep thinking about
No,
it.
I don't think we could establish the MVP in a half an hour unless it's like just a core basic thing. But if we have to discuss designs and functionality at the same time, there's no way we're going to get this done in this meeting or
so
probably in another one.
Look, guys, I have a lunch meeting I got to run, but just kind of pass me some notes here and any questions.
So next step is that we finalize the contracts with this kind of embedded in it as our agreement of how we're working together, and we proceed with the next. What would our next meeting be?
Well, for me, the next meeting will be a meeting where we're on the clock working together. That would be the next meeting. My scope for the base web app in the cloud is super clear. It's like 1 landing page with 1 internal dashboard inside, fully functional identity management, which is what you want. So we will open that up for you, and we will customize it a bit to make sure that it works with that list of authorized users that you want to have. And then from there, 1 dashboard with 1 mocked up search feature for users and 1 mocked up search features for projects. So I think this takes us to the part where afterwards or concurrently through there, I can work with Diane, I can work with you on anything else, wireframing, scoping, consulting, UX, integrations, whatever else it is. So personally, that's as much as I can do, and I hope that will work.
Okay, I think so. And then I'll work on the scripting and visuals.
And I sent you that in an email. I'm having a real tough time pasting it in that Google Doc. It just completely messes up the format for some reason. So I just sent you the whole thing, just like a proposal redone. And if you say, sure, let's go ahead and do it. Let's get together. I'll have a cup of coffee and shake hands and get started.
So you sent a modified?
I did.
scope and-
It's in your email.
All right,
Oh,
guys, I'm gonna be late, so I gotta run,
Okay.
but yeah, definitely
Diane, thank
follow
you.
up with me and look forward
okay,
to talking to you guys soon.
okay, thank you, Dayan. Well,
Thanks. guys.
have a good
Bye.
one. All right. And we'll wrap it up right here then. All right, thank you again for your collaborative.
I'm good. I'm good for another couple of minutes. So
Okay. Well, should I look at, should we look at what
if you
sent
want to,
me?
sure.
Um.
It's more or less the same thing that I sent to you in an email form, in that first email where I said, you know what, there's so much stuff to do here. Take us on for 2 months, and that will give you another brain to work with, just an extended team, and then let's put this cloud app up and running and see what we can build on top of it. For this super modest budget, because it's going to be me, and in the background there's going to be another guy. So we're going to give this our best for I say here 40 business days. So that's 2 months. That way we're not affected by holidays or, Thanksgiving. That way you get the full benefit of like 9 to 5 or 5 days a week. And we just give this thing a real good shot. And then you can say, okay, well, here's my Thrive World base prototype. And then from there, we can start engaging whoever you want, however you want to make it look better or to display it, showcase it, etc.
Um. What's this red note?
There was a slide that, that says, if I'm a learner, here's where I go. And if I'm an admin, here's where I go. And that slide is missing from the deck now. It's no longer there. And it had, it had the rooms, so you could see like a slice, like a 3-dimensional slice. It had those rooms. So it wasn't this slide deck. It had those rooms, but it's not there. I think it was 18 or 19 was the slide number, somewhere in there. Hold on a
The
second.
journey, you mean?
The journey slide, yes. Or was it 20? But it wasn't 20 because I don't see it anymore.
That's weird.
Because it was kind of separated in these quadrants. And if it said,
Oh, here it is. Okay, it just got moved.
yes, this one. Okay, let me snip that. So that's the slide I'm talking about, because this is the one I use to kind of like extract the main domain from here. So I can take this slide and put it in here too. So that would be an appendix right there. So because to me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, if we can have something that gets us to have as many screens that pertain to this particular journey right here, or to structure a project or do, but see, all of that will come as soon as we're done with this base work. And I'm like, you know what, let me get done with this base work as quickly as I can, so that from there I can, start working with you or Diane or anyone else on how we can illustrate this selfpreneur game or journey, because to me that's really the uniqueness of your project and your idea and your process. And like, this
And-
is something that you're bringing that no one else has, is this, like, there's no place that does this, whether it's a physical or a virtual place. I haven't really seen anyone that does this. So to me, being able to go to a foundation or to an investor and say, okay, well, here's my concept, here's my proof of here's my little prototype project, my digital asset, and here's my team. I have a metaverse guy, I have a VR guy, and then we have an enterprise cloud company that leverages blockchain and AI. I think that's quite a bit to be proud of if we can just quickly get it to that point.
So, okay, so I'm kind of overwhelmed and confused because I've been working off of your 3 other docs, and now you have an email that has something in a different form.
No, it was, I sent you this 2 weeks ago, a week ago, and I text you and say, hey, Mary, here's my final offering here. And it was based on our last conversation, because, we keep having these conversations on, Mary, look, like, there's a lot of stuff here. Just put me to work, use my brain. We're going to do the base app for you. We're going to do it with these 3 features that you want. But the price is so low. I mean, we're going to work around the clock to get this done for
I know,
you.
but Dimitre, I have to just say, I have to be very extremely. The reason I'm having this conversation with you and Dayan is because I have to allocate an equal amount of money to his development, because what he's doing with the video development and the graphical piece of it is incredibly valuable to me.
Well, look, you can, that's totally up to you. I mean, this is where I
No,
am, is this
well,
thing
I'm
right
just saying,
here.
I can't, as I said to you in our last call, I can't afford to put the bulk of my funding towards your development when the highest priority is the communication to the
Oh,
people to
let's not
inspire
do it.
them
I
about
get it.
Town experience,
So
not
let's
website.
not, I understand. So let's not do it.
No,
But
my point.
we're down to this. We're down to where we have to work together or not work
Okay,
together. And
try.
I'm saying you're hiring me for $5,000, me and another engineer, for a period of 20 business days, during which we're going to give you A, B, C, and D. And then from there, you're going to pay us another $2,000 for the next 20 business days, which is another month, to do whatever it is that you want. So basically, that's about $10 an hour you're getting us.
Dimitre.
Which no, and I'm saying, if you don't have it or you don't want it or this is not the place, all you have to say is, sorry, we can't do it. And I'm totally fine with that.
Okay,
Totally
I
fine.
just want you to know I'm feeling a little bullied is the word I
Okay,
came
so
to
let me not do it then.
No,
Just
no.
you just,
Dimitre,
I'll just
you're
back
doing
off.
it again. No, you're I just need you to know that in our relationship, I was feeling pressured to move quickly when I wasn't feeling ready, because I have this priority that I think I've laid out pretty well today, that I need that visual, coherent understanding of what we're trying to do in the next crucial months.
Okay.
I
Well,
had to.
the pressure, Mary, is my timing, my business
I
timing.
understand
because,
that. Stop.
and if we,
Stop, Dimitri. You're doing what I need to tell you is concerning me. I'm feeling pressured to, before I feel confident about what we're agreeing to. And here's if I can please come back. You just sent me an email that has a list of things that I need to read through and review. And as I'm reviewing them, I'm saying, well, wait a minute, how does this relate to the thing that you sent before, which I have in a virtual, I made a copy of it in a Google Doc. And
right
so
there.
now I'm trying to look between the two, because I made comments to the prior one. And now I'm trying, and my brain is dizzy. Okay,
But
so
Mary,
I need your help.
you already rejected the prior one because you said the price was too high. Remember? You said all I have was 12,000. So I'm like, you know what? Or 14,000. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it for 5 and another 2 on the back end. So
So
this is
that's
what
what I'm trying to see. Where is this written up? Because I haven't.
right there.
Okay,
So if you
can
look
you
through
tell
the
me
old
one
one,
thing, Dimitri? The prior proposal, the old one, when I shared it with you and started to ask questions about it so that we could evolve it, can I ask why you didn't go there to make the edits as opposed
because
to
you
go
know
and
what?
create a whole different one?
Because we took a conversation on it and you said I can't do it. I can't do it for that price. So I basically said, okay, no problem. So let me make you a new proposal. And I did.
Wait, I didn't say couldn't do it. I said, could we please scale so that I can afford to work with you and also pay someone else?
I
So
did.
my point is,
I scaled it down. So you have the new scaled down version. So see
okay,
here, I'm asking you for a $10,000 deposit. And what does it say here? The engineering cost is 12,000 with a 10,000 build up front. And you said, no, I can't do it because I think you've met with those people at UNR and you met with this guy and you said, I have to get the visual side factored into my small budget first. So that's what I did. What you see on top is basically half of that.
okay, but what I don't know is the words that you have. I don't have time right now between you and me to read through carefully what you wrote there, but here's my concern. I said here, can you please update this proposal to reflect what we discussed on the phone and in the email in terms of scope? And you said, sure thing.
And
Are
then
we
I texted you
talking,
and I said, Mary, I'm trying to paste that thing in there and it looks really horrible. So I'll
what
just
do you
send it
mean?
to you.
Can you clarify?
What you
Paste,
just
what
did,
paste?
what you just did, you took my email and you pasted it on top of this document. And that's what I was trying to do. But for some reason, I couldn't get the formatting to work and it looked really
So
not legible.
my question is, why didn't you edit the one we were working on instead of come up with a whole different one? Because I thought we were just fine tuning, and now I'm kind of overwhelmed that I'm going to have to take another hour to figure out what you sent then versus what was in the prior one, which I've gone through.
Because the prior one was quite different. It had nothing to do with search features. It had nothing to do with that main dashboard. It was more about basically the reward mechanism and blockchain wallets. And you said, but that's not important to me up front. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see how I can fit something in your budget that still gives you the base asset, that still gives you the user-based platform. And then from there, you said, okay, but I want to integrate this with Dayan. Do you want to take the meeting? I took it. So you don't have to review this now. You can sleep on it. I would say let's just be, as courteous as we can to each other. And I mean, today is Wednesday, I think, but I got to meet with Bob and I have to give him a development pipeline for December. So I have to basically send something out to my guys that says, okay, well, this is what we're working on in lieu of this NSF grant that we're soliciting here, and in lieu of everything else that's going on with this AI stuff now that's on our lap. So to me, and I'm sorry if you feel like it's pressure, to me, it's basically timing
No,
and
it's,
how I can squeeze myself into your disposal for this amount of time and just this budget that you have. So everything that I'm doing is to accommodate you, but there's also the essence of time. So I don't know how to, if I'm not reconciling the both of these properly, my apologies for that. I don't know what else to do.
here's where I'm exhausted from the meeting we've had, and I'm not thinking clearly. So what I need to be able to do, Dimitri, is from what we talked about and the agreement table of who's doing what and how we're interacting, if I can somehow figure out how that correlates to what you're proposing so that I can feel confident of what we're going to be able to produce in the next 2 months to meet what I need. And that's what I still am not sure what you're saying versus what we have just talked about? What difference do you see between what you put in the email and that I pasted into here and what we have talked about today?
The
Do you see
difference is,
anything?
yes, the difference is what we were guaranteeing before versus what I'm guaranteeing you now. That's the difference. So I'm guaranteeing you a base website. I'm guaranteeing you one landing page up front, one dashboard inside, and 2 search features. That's the difference. Those are the only things I'm guaranteeing. And then from there, I'm saying, okay, take another month and work with us so that within that month, we can implement as many of the journey screens as we possibly can. So that is quite different than what I had before, which was basically to do the admin side, I believe, is what we're going to do. The admin side and the reward side with blockchain. So after our meeting, when you said the money's too much, I don't need the blockchain feature up front, I don't need the reward stuff up front, I said, okay, well, use us to give you the base asset, use us to give you the base website. And you said, but can you have a search feature? Sure, I can. Can you have a projects search feature? Sure, I can. Can you have user registration for all these people based on an email list? Sure, I can. So I can pretty much guarantee you all of that.
But that's what I'm saying. None of that, none of what we've talked about today do I see in this proposal. I see
yeah, it's right, but it is there.
Public-facing landing page. I have been talking about 8 so that we can do a tour through the app showing people what's possible.
Okay, no, look,
don't
it says
see that.
one external landing page. The landing page, Mary, it's always one. It's always one. When you go to galinahill.com, there's only one page. Any website you go to, there's only one page. That's what a landing page is. It's that very first page, and it's accessible to the public.
Yeah, okay.
So
Then what
that's
about
the
those
landing
other
page.
ones? What are those
The other
other
ones
called?
they're inside of the website after you log in.
Okay, so could we okay. In order for me to feel like you have heard what we've done today, what I'm asking, Dimitri, is to document the things in the contract. I am not seeing it. And is that for me to go in here and say, okay, my understanding is we're gonna get these landing pages that are part that I had, before.
You keep calling them landing pages, but
They're-
they're not that. I think that's confusing us a lot. And Diane too, he's confused by that.
So
Because
what do
the
you call these
screens, pages,
pages?
screens,
Core,
pages.
but they're not just pages, they are core pages, right?
They're pages. They're
Okay,
not
so-
core pages. They're pages. If you say that let's say a collection of pages becomes a feature, so then that's what it is. It's a feature. Like, for example, the user registration is a feature because from the landing page, you click on a button, you go to a form, you get registered, you receive an email, you click on the email, you log in, and now your registration is complete. That's a whole feature. So you're getting a variety of pages and screens out of that feature, out of the box from us right away with a fully operational email server, with all of that stuff working and ready that can be used for other stuff, for example. So in there's probably, like, if you want to call them screens or pages, how many screens or pages and visuals are there? Probably 5 just there. And that's for registration. With that, you get change password, forgot password, all these are screens and pages. All of that stuff is already there. It's all working. There's a backend for it. It's going to get deployed. So now what happens when you log in? When you log in, that is another page, which is what you want to call a dashboard or a control panel, but it's not a landing page anymore because you're inside of the website. So right there in what I've written you, you're going to get that. You're going to get that user dashboard. From that dashboard, you'll be able to navigate to another page, which will display the profile widgets of users, and you'll be able to search by, let's say,
all right, wait, Dimitri, please don't go down that path right now. I think what I need to bring our conversation to a close right now is if you could please take the new contract and help me understand in your language that you understand that I'm looking for these 7, what do you call them? Pages to land on from the home page that each have functionality. And what my most important takeaway is that I am able to create a walkthrough video of a person having these experiences using the graphics that Dayan and I provide for them. Everything else that's behind there, the technology and the back end, is less important to me than your willingness to help create this part of it.
Okay, so you want me to create these screens that some of them might contain even an image from one of your decks, is that correct?
Most of them will contain images that I and Dayan provide because they correlate to the virtual world walkthrough of Thrivetown. So in parallel to this work that you're doing is a Thrivetown virtual world creation using the graphics and the animation and the people and all that stuff that I need to see in parallel in the website that you're designing. Am I being clear about what I'm saying
Okay,
about that?
so in the language of this proposal that I just wrote, now I'm going to go into the Google Doc, and in there I'm going to say that as a system user from your main dashboard after you log in, you need to have the ability to navigate to 7 pages, 7 other pages, which will contain an image.
Or multiple images based
Okay.
on what that structure of it. Yeah.
Okay, so our job would be to create a dashboard that allows you to navigate to 7 other places.
That will have functions, yes, described by, because they are the 7 functions of the website that, you know, that we need to have empowered. So,
Okay. Okay, well, I can have them on a side navigation bar, the 7 functions, whatever, but I can say we will enable any logged in user to access or to navigate to 7 other pages. And those pages, for the time being, will display an image, which will be provided by EIC.
images, yeah. So
Guaranteed, guaranteed.
to include what we discussed today. Okay, so what I'm doing for the, just so I can, I am beyond my mental capacity for right now. So let's use this document for updated information on what we discussed today, so we can come to agreement on this phase of development. All right, and so we're on one page now where we're back and forth looking at it to get clarity on our commitment. In this, I'm going to send this to you, and you are editor. So if there's anything you need to post in there, now you can do that. That is why you weren't able to post things to
Well,
the
see, now I'm not, since we started sharing this stuff, I don't like deleting stuff. So I'd rather paste it on top, or if it's close, I will edit it inline right there and kind of strike it. Just put a line that strikes the old one and put the new one. But the structure changed a couple of times. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just give you this proposal. 1 month is a concrete service. The next month is a blanket, because there's so many things that we're changing and we're doing and we're coordinating, but you still have me, you still have the team. Just like now you said, no, I just want to get into this dashboard. I want to log into this system, and I want you to give me 7 different like little tiles that I can click on, and they will take me each to another page. And there I want to show my key imaging. I want to show my images that are rendered in that page. So I'll just put that in there now and say, no problem. That is something we'll be able to do within the first 3 weeks.
Okay, and what I would like to put in here is a link to the scoping conversation that we just had. So that on record, we see how we're working together and who's producing what. So you can be successful, I can be, Diane can be successful. So, all right, let's put it at that point, and you can come in here, edit here, and how does appendix 1?
I was going to create an appendix 1, but I couldn't find that slide.
Okay, why don't I just link it to page, I'll put it as page,
I can paste the visual right below this now, so no problem. I'll just put the stuff in here.
okay. I think I did do that on the other page, but I need a body break. So let's do this from, you cut and paste and put in what you believe is the deliverable based on our conversation today. How about that? And then I'll come back and Diane will finalize it.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your time, Dimitri, but we're gonna get there.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay. Have a
Thank you.
good rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.